Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're discussing the Zenith El Primero Skeleton Ceramic. You can see and you can purchase this skeleton dial, Ceramic Zenith El Primero, on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Zenith El Primero Skeleton Ceramic. The name pretty much says it all. It's a Zenith El Primero with the famed integrated high-beat chronograph movement, automatic winding with a 50-hour power reserve. It's also ceramic. Shockingly, the ceramic case, 45 millimeters across from 9 to 3, not inclusive of crown or pushers, wears well on my tiny wrist. Now you can see it's big, 45 across the round of the case, but it's not large lug to lug. You can see in profile it fits my wrist nicely. 53 millimeters from lug to lug. It's a bit shorter extremity to extremity than a conventional 44 millimeter Panerai Luminor, so if you can wear that, you can wear this. And in ceramic, this watch is much lighter than a conventional steel Luminor. In terms of thickness, it's not thin, but it's not thick. 14.3 millimeters. You can see that only about 13 millimeters off the wrist it starts to step up to the Sapphire, and the Sapphire is nicely curved, so you should be able to wear this under any sport jacket cuff, any blazer cuff, any sweater. The tightest dress cuffs, maybe not, but then again, you might be able to. It's borderline, and I would say if you can pull off the all-black watch look in formal attire, hey, go for it. Light on the wrist and comfortable. Thanks to the combination of hypoallergenic metal case back and ceramic case, it is a watch that is easy to wear. Light on the wrist, non-threatening to those of you with nickel allergies. The lugs are nicely short cropped, and you can pull the strap straight down unconstrained so it doesn't flare and fight a smaller wrist. Again, if you look at the profile shot on my 16 centimeter wrist, you can see I could probably go down to 15 centimeters and still wear this one with decent proportion and security. And the strap itself is perhaps more substantial than you'll ever need on a watch this light. It is very thick. It's a robust piece of rubber and carbon inlay, beautifully stitched, nicely made. It's visually distinguished by this carbon layer. Now, of course, the watch is 50 meters water resistant. Nevertheless, it should be safe for surface exposure. I wouldn't take this one swimming below the surface, but it remains a very versatile watch. With a blackened titanium clasp, you can see deployant, double deployant for a smaller wrist. It doesn't have the one big up and over fold that can pinch a small wrist. Trigger action to release it. It's not friction fit. It can't simply pop open. The swing arm doubles as the spring system. You'll also note inlaid there are a series of small ceramic beads that act as the closure system to hold it cinched shut. So over time, because the ceramic does not wear down in contact with metal, it'll retain the same sharp, snappy tolerances as when it was first manufactured. Now you'll also note that the watch features the same contours you would get on a contemporary 45 millimeter steel El Primero, which is to say, it's nicely rounded with some compound curves that add complexity. It doesn't have the inelegance of a sheer-sided watch, such as, for example, something like a traditional Panerai Luminor, or even an Hublot Big Bang. Now you also note there's some beveling of the flank of the lug. It still has the exact same elegant lugs and character lines as a standard El Primero, just in a ceramic that's virtually indelible. So the perennial question, since ceramic debuted in the early 2000s in the watch market, is who should buy a ceramic watch? Who is this watch for? Well, it's for the guy who is hypersensitive to scratches and scuffs on his watch, the guy who doesn't beat his watches, but knows he's going to encounter a couple of small dings, scratches, scuffs, marks, the result of the slings and arrows of life on the wrist. The guy who's going to slam his watch hard against solid, immovable objects and sharp, hard objects probably wouldn't opt for ceramic. He would go for something like titanium. Light on the wrist, hypoallergenic. It's going to take a dent, it's going to take a deep channeled scratch the way ceramic won't. But here's your rubric. Here is your rule of thumb. If you're not the type to chip or shatter sapphire crystals, you're probably going to be the kind of guy who would enjoy and get the most benefit from the nearly indelible ceramic. Unlikely to break it open, just as you're unlikely to shatter a sapphire, you're going to find that the watch looks almost new after years of ownership. Now, inboard, the watch has a completely different aesthetic from a conventional El Primero. You can see the case lines are similar, albeit in ceramic. The dial is completely unique. Entirely open, you can see outboard there's a minutes ring that also acts as the register for chronograph seconds, which I may as well start up. And you can see that there are applied and faceted hour indices throughout. It's an easier watch to read than any Hublot all-black. So while it is an all-black watch, nevertheless it is a usable watch, not a novelty. You can also see substantial portions of the El Primero caliber visible beneath the registers for chronograph minutes, hours, and constant seconds. And it does have broad, skeletonized hands that are easy to read even against the all-black backdrop. You'll note the ghosted Zenith and El Primero logos underneath the Sapphire, a nice touch since there is no solid dial on which to print them. Turn it over. You can see we have traditional pump style pushers, and the movement is a very traditional 31 jewel caliber 400 El Primero, standardized except for its all grayscale aesthetic. It's handsome. It sets itself apart aesthetically from other El Primeros, even as it continues to feature their signature elements such as the column wheel function selector, the skeletonized winding rotor, a modern tradition, the 50-hour to 52-hour power reserve, as well as the handsome overall structure. It gives you a view of almost everything from the reduction wheels of the winding system to the column wheel and the levers to the lateral clutch of the chronograph. And again, you can see in the operation of the chronograph the movement of the clutch in and out. That's the real advantage of a lateral clutch on a watch with a display caseback. You can see the driving wheel of the chronograph train moving in and out into contact with the center and away as you stop the mechanism, with the driving wheel, the primary driving wheel, operating off the fourth wheel of the movement to activate the intermediate wheel that transfers to the chronograph at center. And of course that famed 10 beat per second, 36,000 vibration per hour escapement rate. This is a watch that combines the new and the old. Modern materials, aesthetics, all sorts of treatments inside and out, from the look of the strap and the clasp to that spectacular open dial, the ceramic case, the large size, and the classical chronograph caliber. It's everything that Zenith has ever been and is, and significantly, it has the all-timer of an escapement inside, that high-beat El Primero with its double-step cadence to remind you, eyes closed, in the dark, this is still the heartbeat of the manufacturer from Leloc. You can see and you can buy it on our website.